Hello everybody, welcome to The John Show. My name is John, this is my show. We're back with another episode of Headcanon, where I try to explain how my brain fills in plot holes. Today, we're going to answer a very serious question, something that affected my own household, maybe it affected yours. Are the Teletubbies intergalactic terrorists? This was the premise that I began my research with, because this is the reason why I stopped letting my sons watch the Teletubbies. But let's run it back a bit. Let me explain. As always, I have notes on the screen behind the camera, and I'm going to run through my notes and give you my argument. Now, I am not trying to change anybody's mind. I'm not trying to get you to stop letting your children watch Teletubbies. This is my own personal belief after watching a number of episodes with my kids, and then of course watching more episodes in prep for this script that I wrote. So let me explain. I used to work nights, so I didn't really get to spend a lot of mornings with my sons, but when I did, I would watch whatever shows they wanted to watch. I believed that I should be involved in my children's lives and in what was going into their bodies as well as what was going into their minds. Because I grew up in the 80s. When I was a kid, there was a big push to change the content on TV because little girls couldn't do math. Apparently, kids imitated what they saw on their screens. I sure am glad that's no longer a thing. So I am acutely aware of the effects that television has on the minds of children. That, and the time I tried to shuffle together a Scooby sandwich. Which, by the way, you cannot shuffle together a Scooby sandwich. I tried. Twice. On this particular morning, my boys wanted to watch Teletubbies, so I turned on the PBS station, and Teletubbies it was. And for about 10 minutes, I let them watch. But then things got weird. I had questions. Where is everybody? Who is the voice in the speaker? Why won't they listen? What the fuck is up with the sun? Why are they thrusting? The Teletubbies is a British children's television series that debuted on the BBC in 1997. The show was created by Anne Wood and Andrew Davenport and ran from 1997 to 2001, with a revival series starting in 2015 and ending in 2018. But we will be focusing on the original series, specifically the US version that aired on local PBS stations. For those unaware, PBS stands for Public Broadcasting Service, a non-commercial public broadcaster of free-to-air television, mostly educational shows. The program revolves around the 4 differently colored characters, the Teletubbies, named for the television screens on their bellies. Each one has a unique antenna sprouting from the top of their head in different shapes. The Teletubbies were designed to resemble toddlers, with large heads and eyes, speaking gibberish and often repeating what they are told. Their names are Tinky Winky, Dipsy, La, and Po. The show takes place in a grassy field riddled with wildflowers. Rabbits frolic and birds can be heard in the distance. There is a crater in the field in which a geodesic dome-like structure sits. The outside of the dome is camouflaged to blend in with the environment, but inside is a cold, metal environment full of all kinds of contraptions. This panopticon is called the Tubbytronic Superdome, a technological wonder designed only to house the Teletubbies. There are only 2 ways into and out of the Tubbytronic Superdome, a hatch in the top and a large door located at the foot of the dome. Within their domicile is the Nunu, an anthropomorphic blue vacuum tasked with cleaning up after the Teletubbies and general upkeep of the Superdome. Now, the only other characters are the voice trumpets, remote speakers that come out of the ground anywhere the Teletubbies are to give them instructions on their day-to-day operations, and the narrator, the godlike voice that explains to us, the audience, what's really going on. Also, the narrator acts as the final say in the matters of the Teletubbies. When they disobey the voice trumpets, the narrator has to step in time and again to correct their bad behavior. And though they disobey, the Teletubbies eventually acquiesce to the narrator. Every episode follows the same routine: the interactions between the Teletubbies and the voice trumpets, the Nunu getting into all kinds of mischief with the Teletubbies, the video message that the Teletubbies receive from the spinning magic pinwheel, and each episode ends with the narrator having to argue with the Teletubbies to get them to go to bed. Throughout the series, we see the Teletubbies engage in actions that they know are not allowed, that are mischievous or downright bad. Sometimes they will even perform these actions while looking into the camera, which I think is both them looking at us, the viewer, but also them looking at the narrator, like the way you would look into a security camera to look at the guards watching on the screen in another room. They do this in full opposition to the Nunu, the voice trumpets, and the narrator, defiant in the face of their subjugators. According to the Mayo Clinic, oppositional defiant disorder, or ODD, includes a frequent and ongoing pattern of anger, irritability, arguing, and defiance towards parents and other authority figures. ODD also includes being spiteful and seeking revenge, a behavior called vindictiveness. Symptoms of ODD generally begin during preschool years. Sometimes ODD may develop later, but almost always before the early teen years. Oppositional and defiant behaviors are frequent and ongoing. They cause severe problems with relationships, social activities, school and work for both the child and the family. Emotional and behavioral symptoms of ODD generally last at least 6 months. They include angry and irritable mood, argumentative and defiant behavior, and hurtful and revengeful behavior. These behaviors can include argumentative and defiant behavior, often arguing with adults or people in authority, often actively defying or refusing to follow adults' requests or rules. They often annoy or upset people on purpose. They often blame others for their own mistakes or misbehavior. They are hurtful and revengeful. Say mean and hurtful things when they're upset, try to hurt the feelings of others, and seek revenge, also called being vindictive. The causes for oppositional defiant disorder are unclear. These causes may include a combination of genetic and environmental factors. Children and teenagers with oppositional defiant disorder may have trouble at home with parents and siblings, in school with children, and at work with supervisors and other authority figures. Children and teens with ODD may struggle to make and keep friends and relationships. ODD may lead to other problems such as poor social and work performance, antisocial behavior, legal problems, impulse control problems. Many children and teens with ODD also have other mental health conditions such as attention deficit hyperactivity disorder or ADHD, and also conduct disorders, depression, anxiety, learning and communication disorders. And unfortunately, there's no way to prevent oppositional defiant disorder, but positive parenting and early treatment can help improve and prevent the situation from getting worse. The earlier that ODD can be managed, the better. And that is where my initial research ended. I had approached this topic with a certain premise, one that I found out during my research I was not the only one to come up with, but those articles are behind paywalls and I'm cheap. But I do want to say that this is not by any means only my idea, and I think any parent that actually watched this show with their kids would come to a similar conclusion. This show ain't right, but it kept coming back to the tummy thrusting. I knew I'd seen this before. I'd seen it when I was younger. No, not like that. Get your minds out of the gutter. Care Bears, originally painted in 1981 by artist Elena Kucharik for American Greetings, are multicolored anthropomorphic bears. And by anthropomorphic in this sense, what I mean is that they walk on 2 legs, they use their front legs as arms and their paws for hands. They began as greeting card characters, then plushies from American Greetings toy department called Those Characters from Cleveland, along with the movie The Care Bears in the Land Without Feelings in 1983. Later in 1984, the Care Bear cousins, non-bear characters, were introduced. Each Care Bear or cousin is a different color or shade and has a unique image, their belly badge or tummy symbol, that is in direct reference to what aspect of the emotional spectrum they represent. Kind of like the lanterns in DC. The franchise consists mainly of the Care Bears themselves, as well as the later editions of the Care Bear cousins. Both of these groups live in the Kingdom of Caring, which is made up of Care-a-Lot, the home of the Care Bears, and the Forest of Feelings, the home of the Care Bear cousins. A less recurring character is the Cloud Keeper, the caretaker of Care-a-Lot, and presumably the entire Kingdom of Caring. The Cloud Keeper sweeps up in the land of Care-a-Lot and keeps a friendly eye out for his friends, the Care Bears, according to promotional material from 1984. In 1989, Carol Ashkenazi of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution referred to them as the whimsical late 20th century descendants of what we used to know as guardian angels. Furry, friendly, adorable creatures whose mission is to guide small children and protect them from boogeymen. The Care Bears' ultimate weapon, those are Wikipedia's words, not mine. The Care Bears' ultimate weapon is the Care Bear Stare, in which the collected bears stand together and radiate light from their respective tummy symbols. These combine to form a ray of love and good cheer, which can bring care and joy into the target's heart. It can break dark spells, or revive something that's been broken, wilted, or messed up. Although commonly used on villains, the stare has also been used on humans and the Care Bears themselves. It was occasionally used in the Deke TV series to cure Care Bears and humans who were under the effects of Professor Coldheart's uncaring magic. It also occurred once in Care Bears' Adventures in Care-a-Lot, when it was used to temporarily cheer up Grumpy Bear in the episode The Telltale Tummy. In addition to the Care Bear Stare, the Care Bears also can use their tummy symbols to summon other assistants, such as heart-shaped balloons, cloud cars, rainbow bridges, and sending out a distress signal. Care-a-Lot is located in the clouds above Earth. Considering the Abrahamic religious overtones, they have a Cloud Keeper or Sky Father, there's 10 original bears and 10 commandments, and they watch over us from above. The kingdom is supposed to be heaven, which as we all know is not in the clouds, but some higher dimension. So the Care Bears are extra-dimensional beings with supernatural powers so formidable they can not only affect the mood of humans, but can counteract black magic and resurrect the dead, as well as warp reality and create matter out of nothing. But what's the connection? How did I go from intergalactic terrorists to Care Bears? Well, here's what happened. The 4 Teletubbies were originally Care Bear cousins, previous identities unknown. They committed some heinous act, something so bad that they were banished to some plane of existence completely separate from everyone else. This act had to have been in direct opposition to the core values of the Care Bears and their cousins. Hate? But not just spreading hate. They had to have done something tantamount to genocide, and whatever it was, it had to directly involve children. After all, the Care Bears and cousins were the guardian angels to small children. They are on lockdown 23.5 hours a day. They get up when the voice trumpets tell them to. They get yard time when the voice trumpets tell them to. They eat when the voice trumpets tell them to. They go to bed when the voice trumpets tell them to. And they are forced to eat a vegan diet, feminizing and further pacifying them. Yes, there are rabbits, but anybody who knows their history knows that you cannot survive off rabbit protein. At some point, prior to their arrival on this prison planet, they were operated on. It was some kind of a lobotomy, reducing mental cognition to a minimum, along with disfiguring their faces, removing the tummy symbol and a number of attached internal organs, and replacing them with a mechanical device, a Teletubby. This device is controlled by the magic pinwheel via the antenna implanted in their brain, which is used to activate pleasure signals in their nervous system, an addictive measure to enhance control over the Teletubbies through threat of pleasure denial. It also provides a virtual interaction or hallucination of them observing children as they would have done back in the Kingdom of Caring, and when they watch it again, they think they're helping. It also imitates the Care Bear Stare without them being able to access their immense magical powers, keeping them from being able to escape via Cloud Car or Rainbow Bridge. And this was done by the Cloud Keeper, not just as a punishment to the rogue Care Bear cousins, but as a warning to the others. The Cloud Keeper won't kill you. He'll break your mind, torture your body, and leave you alive, completely oblivious of who you are or what you're truly capable of. A living husk, an empty shell just going through the motions in an imitation of life. The Cloud Keeper then set his star buddy in the sky, the Sun Baby, as guardian over the Teletubbies, their own Sky Father, or Cloud Keeper, if you will. And this is what the fuck is wrong with the Teletubbies, at least in my headcanon. Thank you everyone for watching. This is episode 2 of Headcanon, and I think I've got a few more left in me, so let me know in the comments, what do you think about this? Do you think the Teletubbies are some kind of evil monsters, or rogue Care Bears, intergalactic terrorists, or just innocent creatures that adults need to quit overthinking about? Let me know in the comments below. I appreciate everybody who watches, and if you like what you see, subscribe. Of course, like what you see, and we'll see you in the next episode. Take care now.